We're live.
We are live.
We are live. Oh my God. January 4th, too. 2026. The new year has started. My name is Tom Thompson. This is Digby next to me, in case you guys forgot who he was.
It's been a while, mate.
It has been a long time. I missed doing this with you, man. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Digby, even though I said it to you on New Year, but we'll reiterate because it's always a nice thing to say it more than once. It feels good to be good and friendly to our friends. How are you?
I'm good, man. A bit tired, but I'm good. It's been a mad couple of weeks for me. Well, actually, a bit longer than that. Actually, a couple of months, really. But yeah, no, man, I'm doing good. Keeping very, very busy. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I feel like I don't know how to really explain this, but I feel like I hit a fork in the road, and then I was like, all right, this is where I'm gonna turn, and I feel like I have like a good personal plan in place to keep myself happy and busy and get content out for Anomalous Media. Because I mean, let's face it, like I have my YouTube channel, but it falls under our umbrella, right? It's still connected to all of that. Now, what we're doing today, I don't mean to disappoint anyone, but it's not about UFOs.
All the viewers just went.
Yeah, there you go. Like, no, but seriously, I if you guys like what we do, and if you guys at least somewhat believe in the things that I speak about and hold my opinions to have any amount of weight, we have shared a few posts about this project over the last several weeks, and this is something that I will tell you I am personally very concerned about. It is something that I have envisioned since I was young, being that I read Orwell and Huxley, and there's just the idea of an authoritarian future that I would not want to be part of. This is very much the wet dream of those types of mindsets, the people that envision this for humanity. Digby lives in the UK.
The New World
I do not.
Order bastards, you mean?
Yes. I mean, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be conspiratorial about this either. This isn't conspiratorial. This is existential threat. This is right and wrong. That's the way I look at it. This is not about Republican, Democrat. Like, I'm speaking to all parties. All parties. I'm just talking to citizens. This is citizens versus government overreach. And I am not nearly as well informed on this. Digby is. Digby is working on an incredible project about the digital ID system that they are attempting to implement in the United Kingdom. And it's like, well, why is that our problem? We live in the United States, or I live in Canada. This is your problem because it's going to become your problem. We'll get into all of that. But Digby, I guess a good starting point, I'd like to know, because I actually don't know the answer to this. How did this come about and reach your ears? And when did it first start filling you with enough concern to like take action against it?
Well, I mean, digital ID, or the idea of digital ID, isn't a new thing, okay? This isn't a new concept. This current Labour government didn't come up with this idea. It's been around for a long time. In fact, I think the first time that we heard of a digital version of ID was back in 2004 when Tony Blair's Labour government tried to introduce it. Luckily, the coalition government came in after that and abolished it, burnt all the records and said, no, we're not doing digital ID. But originally, the original idea of ID cards for citizens was actually brought in during the Second World War. It was brought in as a measure to know who was who when the bombs were falling, and make sure that people were accounted for and they knew where people were. The trouble was that at the end of the Second World War, the ID cards didn't go away. It was actually a guy called Clarence Henry Wilcock who actually stood up to the police and said, no, I'm not showing my ID to you. I'm a British citizen and I don't have to prove my status to anybody. That went before the High Court, and 2 years later, ID cards were abolished in the UK because, with the exception of wartime measure and needing to know where people were, there wasn't really any need for it. Now we're faced with the situation where this is coming back in. And it's the important thing to remember with digital ID, the way it's being introduced now. There's a few factors. First of all, nobody voted on this. This wasn't in Keir Starmer's Labour manifesto. Nobody voted for their local Labour MP thinking that they were going to be bringing forward digital ID. Because quite frankly, they wouldn't have won, despite how unpopular the Conservatives were at the time. So nobody voted for this. And I think that's really the key thing that we have to remember here. Nobody voted for this. And the other thing is that this isn't going to be voted on. This is just going to be brought in. They're saying it's not going to be, you don't have to do it, but you do. Because if you want to work in the UK, whether you're an immigrant or not an immigrant, it's not about that. If you want to prove that you're allowed to work in the UK by the end of this government's term, you will have to do that using a digital ID provided by the UK government.
And I find that frightening.
It is frightening. It's frightening when you think about it and you play it forward. At the moment, it's right to work, then it will be right to rent, and it will be used to access your benefits. All of this stuff, it's not that difficult to play this forward and realize what level of control this is going to have over, what level of control this government is going to have over your life. And it's not even just this government. Whether you support Keir Starmer's Labour government or not, what about the next government that come in? And what about what they decide to do and how they decide to use it?
That's the
what
key
really
here.
Scares me.
That's the key. It's one word: precedent. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to get political here, but I'm going to just be logistical about things, right? Obviously, everybody knows that over the last 24 hours in the United States, things have been pretty interesting, being that we went and captured Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. Logistically speaking, you could argue that, and again, the people of Venezuela are cheering in the streets, and yet we have groups of people over here protesting and screaming to send him back and such. And again, I stay out of those conversations for a very good reason. It has nothing to do with me. I just want peace, and I just want people to be able to live their lives. You could argue that's another situation where you do, regardless of the result, you do have to think about precedent and what people need to understand about this digital ID in case you are picturing it a certain way. This is not a single plastic national ID card. It is building a digital identity ecosystem, and it's made of two connected tracks, which are the government track and the market track. And you don't have this right now. You haven't experienced something like this. Like, imagine somebody telling you very simply that in order for you to own property, to work, maybe even to travel using public transportation, etc., you must have this. Well, what if you don't want to have it because it gives them too much reach? It gives them too much control, too much oversight into your personal information. You're not comfortable with it, and it has nothing to do with whether you're hiding anything or you're guilty of anything that you're up to. It's principle. And then, because you feel that way, just at a gut level, they're like, well, that's fine, but guess what? Now you can't go and do any of these things, and you are stuck in societal limbo. I could see this also potentially connecting, Digby, and I think you'll agree with me, and I don't know if there's a plan in place for this that is technically connected to it. So if there is, I would really like for you to flesh it out if you know about it. This really reminds me of what goes on in China with the social credit system. Now, does this involve something like that?
It's exactly the same model as the social credit system in China, and people need to realize that. And we've looked at the Chinese people as being a people that have been controlled by their government for a very, very long time, and now this is being snuck in through the back door, and we're going to end up being in exactly the same situation. I think the key thing here is to highlight for people exactly what this means for people's future. And there's a few things that need to be brought into this and need to be realized. And that's CDBCs, central bank digital currencies, easy for me to say, and the introduction of AI that's growing at an exponential rate. And also, I mean, can you remember just before Christmas, all these robotics companies showcasing all their robotics that are going to be coming out in 2026? You know, technology is moving so fast that people around the world will be sort of displaced in a way when it comes to work, because a lot of the jobs that people do are going to be taken over by some form of robotics or AI. And then we have the introduction of central bank digital currencies, universal basic income, or as Elon Musk likes to call it, universal high income, because he thinks everyone is going to get paid that much money, which I don't personally see myself. Now, you integrate all of this into a digital ID system, and as soon as you're getting given money by a government, that money can come with conditions. And what better way to make sure people are playing within the bounds of those conditions than digital ID and controlling your money? So it will be a case of, if you don't toe the line, your access is denied. No, sorry, you can't buy this today. Or no, sorry, you've already had 2 bottles of wine this week. You can't have any more. Or you've traveled a little bit too far this month. We're going to restrict your movements. Now, one of the things that they're also
can I cut you off for a quick second?
Sure.
I don't mean, and I apologize, but I want to ask you this because I feel like it's really important before we get too far away from that. What would you say to people that don't think that's realistic, like what you're talking about, the 2 bottles of wine and things of that nature? Like that really resonated with me. What would you say to people that are like, no, come on, that they wouldn't do that?
They've already started printing carbon scores on packets of food in the UK. You know, they are already putting in place the measures that need to be there to make sure that they can control you. It will be done under the guise of, you know, protecting the environment and carbon neutral or carbon negative, whatever they want to call it. But, you know, we have to remember that carbon negative means everybody on this planet dies. So let's not go too far.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I mean, the other thing that snuck in just in the last budget here in the UK as well was that all of a sudden now they're going to tax electric cars per mile, which
for God's sake.
So it's already being brought in, and they're not even hiding it. You know, originally the idea of digital IDs was brought in by Keir Starmer in this government to as a way of stopping the boats, as they call it, or controlling immigration. This is not what it's about. There was a newspaper article out only a couple of days ago that they're now thinking about requiring digital ID for babies.
For babies?
For babies. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Be assigned a government-issued digital ID, a gov.uk wallet, a brick card from the day that you were born. This means that from the moment you are born, your carbon can be tracked. Your movements can be tracked. You will be judged for the rest of your life. With social media, what you say online follows you around online. Yeah. With digital ID, it follows you everywhere, to every aspect of your life. You say something that the government doesn't like, they will penalize you for it. This will happen. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is conspiracy fact. This is what is going to happen in the UK. It's already started happening in Australia. I know a couple of people on my comments from my posts I've been putting online over the last couple of days, and like people in Italy saying, "Oh, yeah, but we already have it here." And a friend in Poland said, "Yeah, we already have it here." It's like, you don't. You don't. You have an ID card. You may have a one login for your government issued stuff online, but this is not the same. This isn't a card. This isn't a username and password. This is an app on your phone. This is your biometric data. This is going to be your fingerprint, probably your retina scan down the line, everything. They've already put systems in place in airports in around Europe and UK that is going to scan your biometrics to ensure that they align with your passport. You know, it used to be.
Real ID.
Right? It used to be
when I went to get my ID.
Yeah.
Just updated. My photo was too old, and they're like, "Do you want to sign up for Real ID?" And I was like, "No, thank you."
No. when was it? It wasn't too long ago that your thumbprint, your fingerprints were only taken from you if you were a criminal or you were suspected of causing criminal damage or a criminal act. Now we're supposed to give up that information freely. Why should we? When did we stop being sovereign human beings, and when did we start getting controlled by the state? Because last time I checked, it doesn't matter if you're right leaning or left leaning, we vote for people in power, to govern us, but not to be in control of us.
100%.
This is massive state overreach, and it needs to stop. And if it's allowed to happen here, then it will happen absolutely everywhere.
That's my point.
I know this firsthand. I know exactly how much they want to cover up what they're doing, and I know how far they will reach, because in the process of filming this documentary that is coming out later on this year on streaming platforms, I have been subject to massive digital attacks that has cost me greatly financially. I've had hard drives wiped remotely. I've lost equipment because of them trying to stop me speaking out against digital ID.
I remember, I want to talk about that. I really want to talk about that, because that was actually one of the weirdest days of my professional career working with you. I was in the work truck at my day job in the passenger seat, and you called me that first time to tell me, like, oh my God, mate, my hard drive died. And it's like...
Great English impression.
Oh. I threw the mate in there.
Oh my God, right. My hard drive's just gone and been nicked, hasn't it, Governor?
These bloke nunks cases. I was like, oh man, I was like, but it's funny because when that first one happened, it didn't cross my mind like, oh, this is suspicious. No, not that time. Then it happened again. Okay, I've been using digital devices since the mid-90s. My parents had the internet very early. We've had multiple hard drives of different sizes, shapes, forms. I have never seen someone have like a hard drive that was like within that particular point in its lifespan just die. And then it happened again. So now you're talking about lightning striking twice in the same place. Oh, but wait a second. Hold on. It's like Billy Mays, the guy that used to sell OxyClean. But wait, there's more! 3 times!
3 times. 3 hard drives wiped.
3 times! Like, I need that. I want, and the reason I'm freaking out is because I want people to understand. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. We take care of our stuff, too. Digby takes care of his equipment. I take care of my equipment. The stuff is not cheap. Some of the stuff was new. And it's funny because it only happened after you had uploaded everything that you had. You go to bed. It sits there, which means there was time. There was time for someone to come in, have a little look-see, and they're like, and they kiboshed it. And to me, that is utterly disturbing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was 3 hard drives in the space of, I think it was, what was it, a week and a half?
Yes.
2 went down within 24 hours of each other. And before anybody says, I wasn't using the same USB cable, I wasn't using the same USB port, on one of them, it wasn't even the same computer. And one of the hard drives I'd had for the last 5 years, no issue with it. One was about 12 months old, and the third one that went down was the brand new one I bought to replace the other 2. They all went down. I was writing to one, and as I was writing to it, there was files actively being deleted off it. And then I pull it straight away, and then I go back and plug it back in, and then all of a sudden this device is not recognized anymore.
You were wait a second. You were watching files like disappearing like in real time?
Files real time being deleted off the hard drive when it was happening. Yeah, one time it was happening while I was writing to the drive, and then the files started disappearing. And also, this only happened after I had, because I've got the documentary is going to be about an hour and a half long, maybe a little bit longer. But all the bits that I have filmed so far Is my evidence, my parts to camera, and some footage from protests that I've been to and people that I've interviewed. But the thing is, I think the thing that separates it is the fact that, where this is intended to be aired, the fact that I am naming names, and these aren't new names, these are names that everybody knows, but it's names in this format, I think, that is giving me the problem. And also, because this is, up until this point, has been completely independently funded by myself. There's nobody there saying you can't say this, you can say that, or we want this narrative. So I suppose in that aspect, I'm quite a wild card, and they don't know how it's going to go. Judging by the interactions that I've had on X and on social media, well, actually, pretty much just X. If you post anything on Facebook, nobody bloody looks at it unless it's some, I don't know,
I hate
stupid
Facebook.
meme or whatever.
I don't even go on it.
But I mean, the videos I've posted on X, the clips I've posted on X, the bits I've done to camera on X have had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views in very, very short space of time. There are a lot of people that are very interested in this documentary and it coming out. And somebody out there has been trying to stop me. And this only happened. They only got wind of it when I took the first sort of 20 minutes, my rough edit for 20 minutes, and I uploaded it on a private, unlisted link on YouTube, so I could send it to a few people for review and comment, you being one of them, a friend of mine who's a documentary filmmaker as well, and our friend Darcy Weir as well. I uploaded it there and to show to some family members. And it was 24 hours after doing that I started having these issues. But it's not only that. The hard drive incident wasn't isolated. As soon as the hard drive incident started happening, the files that were on my YouTube channel also were deleted. They weren't available anymore. So this isn't conspiracy theory. This is conspiracy fact. This is what has happened to me. And nobody can tell me otherwise. What I'm not going to sit here and say is, this was the UK government that's done this. I'm not going to say that because, quite frankly, I don't know that it is. But
right.
When you're talking about things and you're talking about the my brain's gone dead. But when you're talking about everybody in Davos and you're talking about Klaus Schwab and you're talking about Larry Fink and you're talking about Bill Gates, any number of people out there could be trying to destroy this or prevent it from happening, or certainly make it more difficult for me to do it. And that's what's happened.
It's overwhelming. It's frustrating. And I want people to also understand too, like, this might be a project from our media company, but even if I was just your friend and I wasn't part of any of this at all and we did no work together, like, I would be in full support of this and doing everything I could, because look at this documentary as a preventative measure. The government, and you said this really brilliantly earlier, and I'll highlight it, and I guess I'll just say it a little differently from my heart. Governments are meant to reflect the will of the people. They're supposed to enact the will of the people. And what this is a blatant disregard for that tenet. Full stop.
I mean, yeah, it is. But I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't, it may be the government, the UK government right now, and governments around the world sort of putting this to the people or pushing it out there, but they're not the ones behind this. This was concocted by world influencers and world leaders in Davos, at the World Economic Forum. And they've been told to go back home and implement it. When countries around the world start talking about something in lockstep with one another, that it's not an independent idea. This has been discussed somewhere else. And those people in Davos at the World Economic Forum, they're billionaires, influencers, tech giants. They're not politicians. There are politicians that go, but the policy document is being discussed in dark rooms somewhere and then going back home and implementing it. That's not what should be happening here.
That scares the hell out of me.
This is the problem. Play this forward, and we do end up in a dystopian future where every aspect of your life is being controlled. And call me stupid, but I think that is the hill to die on, to protect our civil liberties, because allowing digital ID to come in now is the end of humanity, modern society as we know it.
It is.
You don't have to play this forward very much into the future to realize if we let this through, we've all fucked up. Because once they've taken those liberties, once, nothing's going to give them back to you. They're gone forever, short of some worldwide revolution and everybody, starting civil wars against their own countries, which I don't recommend to anybody.
We don't want that.
But this is the hill to die on. They tested us in 2020 with the virus that shall not be named, and to see how we would comply. And this is the next step. And it's far bigger than that. It's far, far bigger than that. And I know I'm talking about this as a Brit, and this is going to affect me directly now, but it does. If you're watching in America, Canada, somewhere in Europe, this is coming for you. There's no way to stop it if we don't stop it here. If we don't stop it in places like the UK, if we don't stop it in places like Australia, if we comply here, it will go everywhere. It has to stop. So the aim of the documentary, This is Digital ID, is to raise awareness. And there are some people that are watching this live stream now, or who will watch the documentary and go, oh, I know most of the information in this documentary. It's a bit like the stuff we normally do, Tom, when we talk about UAP, and a new documentary comes out and everybody complains afterwards like, oh, there was no new information. But you've got to realize that every time one of those documentaries come out, and this is the same, this isn't necessarily for the people that are diehard, that are watching X 24/7, keeping themselves up to date. This is a way of broaching the subject with normal, everyday people that don't necessarily have their finger on the pulse 24/7, and making them realize exactly what is going to happen. So the aim of the documentary, originally, it was just a little passion project. I was filming it on my iPhone. It was going to go on YouTube. And then it just developed and developed and developed. The original files that I used when I was creating them, you saw the original version or a short version of the original version.
I loved it.
But I've scrapped all that. I've started again. This is now, I'm on the move. I've got places to go. I've got to go up to the north of England in February to interview an activist. I've got MPs to go down to London and interview. I've got people in the north of England and in the Midlands that I need to travel to and go and interview. I've had thousands of pounds worth of equipment that I've needed to buy just to level myself to be able to do this and do it properly. I'm lucky enough that I have contacts so that I can get this on streaming platforms instead of just YouTube. Because quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, YouTube is completely and utterly dead. I mean, Tom, you and I have a YouTube channel, which in the past has done pretty well. We are currently streaming on that YouTube channel, as well as my ex and your ex, Tom. And for the 5,000 odd subscribers we've got on YouTube, there are 0 people currently watching this on YouTube.
Right.
YouTube does not like us. YouTube,
and
it's
been a while, right? But let's be honest here. Like, even though we haven't streamed in a while, YouTube doesn't really do anything extra to help us out. Like, it's funny too, because the last couple of actual edited video projects that I did, I posted them directly to X. Like, I still actually have to post them on YouTube. The one I did about non-human presence in the ocean, and I haven't even put that on YouTube yet, and I will. I absolutely will.
I argue it's not worth it, but yeah,
it's not. It doesn't feel as primary as it used to be. If it's kind of like if people like you, they're just going to go wherever you're at. But YouTube doesn't make any of that easier either. So also too, I want to point this out to people. Like, this type of project is not cheap. And that's why there is the ticker that you see at the bottom of the screen. I have completely run out of energy to argue with people that call creators like grifters, and I just don't care anymore. we like what we do, we believe in what we do, and things like films and projects like this take time and they cost money. If you believe in it, we appreciate your support. It's never a requirement. Digby was fortunate enough, a friggin' blessing from the gods in the last few months, as was able to, under certain circumstances, really upgrade his equipment. And I think that was like meant to happen for this project. It's almost like the universe was like, yeah, you're on the right path here, and helped you out with that. I, on the other hand, am still working with, obviously, my phone. I need to upgrade my GPU. I'm using an old Toshiba television. Like, I don't think people realize how little I work with. Like, all the good stuff that I have is on the software end. So if you support anything that we do, there's obviously ways that you can, there you have the ticker there. We just want to be on par with one another, right? Digby and I don't live close, right? So it's like, I can't do this project any sort of real justice by going out and, say, filming a protest here in the United States for digital ID, because it's not going to look anything like what he's filming. It's the best footage he's ever shot. It is crisp, it's clear, it's gorgeous. It literally looks like, it's like IMAX, right? Like, it's beautiful stuff. It's really, really good. So when you make those types of contributions, you're essentially leveling my playing field with my work partner here. We like what we do. We love what we do. And we want to help in any way that we can. And there's a lot of different things that we care about. Obviously, you guys know my focus is UFOs and the anomalous side of life. But there's a lot of other issues that I care about too. And anomalous media embodies that. That maybe we'll do a project about, how people are essentially being poisoned by the food that they eat. Or, there's just things that we care about that I feel resonate with a lot of other people. But these things are impossible without money. That's just the system that we live in. And there's nothing we can do. Digby, you and I both know that if things were different, this is what we would do every waking second of every day, essentially. If I didn't have a day job, if I didn't have to worry about bills, I would be traveling across this country, probably interviewing experiencers or, that type of thing. I would pursue it as much as I could.
I think the problem for me is that that's actually ended up being what I am doing. But, I don't have the funds to do it. And to do this documentary justice, money does need to be there. And that's not to sort of fund any kind of lifestyle. It's just to enable me to travel, to be able to hire the equipment that I need to use, to hire spaces to interview people. All this stuff costs money. I've been actively working on this full time now for the last 2 months, which means pretty much 2 months without getting paid, without basic small little jobs that I'm doing on the side.
And you have kids.
Sob story. I have kids, but this isn't a sob story. But so far this documentary has cost me 7,000 UK.
That sounds about right.
And I can't carry on doing it like this. That money needs to come in from somewhere, and support needs to come from somewhere, which is why I have now got the GoFundMe going, just to enable me to get enough money in so that this documentary can get finished and it can get out there on streaming platforms. I'm a pretty accomplished editor myself, but there are things that I'm going to need help with, graphic design, all these things cost money. I want this documentary to be the best it can be, because I want people to watch it. I want them to take note, and I want them to feel empowered to take action after they've seen it. And if I can wake thousands of people up, or who knows, millions of people up around the world through some good filmmaking, then I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure I do the best I can. So anybody who's watching this, who wants to contribute to this documentary specifically, there's on the bottom of the screen there's a GoFundMe link. You can go over there. I started it yesterday. I've had some amazing people that have been incredibly generous so far. Not all of them were my mum, I'm just kidding. She hasn't donated. She's given me enough already. Poor woman's been supporting me for the last 2 months. But I've got a target on GoFundMe of 5,000 UK pounds, and that is literally for travel, for interviews, for accommodation, for equipment, for hiring editors to take on some of the workload, and all the stuff that needs to be done, all the post-processing that needs to be done before this goes out on streaming platforms, which hopefully will be on Amazon and Apple later on this year. Who knows, if it's good enough, we can get it on Netflix. But it has to be of a certain quality to be able to allow that to happen.
Yes.
And I can't do that by myself. So There is a GoFundMe ticker going across the screen there. If you can see that, anything that you give goes directly towards helping this project. It doesn't matter if you can contribute a quid, $10, $5, whatever. Every little bit helps. I set the target last night. I've already currently raised £335 in the last 18 hours, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I thank every single person that has donated so far or contributed so far. From the bottom of my heart, you've no idea what it means to me. But any help that anybody can give, there's also a QR code at the top of the screen. If you're watching this, you can scan that and it will go straight to the GoFundMe page. So any help that anybody can give would be greatly appreciated. I don't know about you, Tom, but I think it's probably a good idea to give people an idea of what has already been done, and maybe use this as an opportunity to share my little trailer. What do you think?
I think you should. I think it sends a very clear message. And again, maybe that's what pushes some people over the edge. It's not just hearing about it, but it's seeing it. So
yeah. Oh, actually, I will add one thing actually. So just so everybody knows, anybody that does donate or contribute towards the fund for this documentary will actually get access to an online premiere of the documentary before it comes out on streaming platforms. It will be live streamed. You'll have private access to it, and there will be a video forum afterwards where everybody can meet each other, have a conversation. I'll be there. I'm hoping that some of the people that I've interviewed that have contributed towards the filming of this documentary will also be there, so you'll get to speak to them. I'm hoping to get some pretty big names involved. I've already got some that have already agreed to be filmed, which is why I need to start traveling around the country to go and interview these people. They are names that everybody will recognize. But this all takes time. It all costs money. I mean, for instance, there's a lot going on in Australia. I would really love the opportunity to be able to go over to Australia and have them represented in this. All this stuff costs money. So any way that any of you can help is greatly appreciated. But for now, let's have a look at the trailer. In the UK right now, the government is rolling out a national digital ID. Not thinking about it, not maybe one day, rolling it out. I'm standing here today outside the BBC Broadcasting House for today's digital ID protest.
If you say yes to digital ID, you'll probably never be able to say no to the government ever again. And not just this government, but future governments, you don't even know who's going to be there.
We were told that national ID cards were dead. We were told that's not who Britain is. And technically, that's still true. Because the modern version is way smarter than a plastic card in your wallet. It's a live connection.
People have got to raise their heads out the sound.
It's not about myself, mate, it's about everybody's freedom.
What they're essentially doing is they're trying to funnel humanity into being a number.
Because there is a version of this future where your ability to earn, to move, to buy, to speak is no longer a right. It's a permission. And permissions can be switched off. This is digital ID. How it started, how it's being sold to you, and what your life looks like behind a biometric paywall.
It's time for the lion to roar!
Good old David Icke.
Good old David Icke. I'm hoping
Still out there.
I'm hoping to get him. Actually,
Man.
I've put a few feelers out to get him.
You got you listen. Whether you
great.
agree with that guy or not, you got to at least give him credit for at his age still being out there and being as passionate and as active as he is. And he's a prolific writer too. He's written a lot. You know, again, ideas and political visions aside, like. I'm always impressed by somebody at an old age that still has like that type of energy, and I'm like, damn, I hope I still have it when I'm old. That's a great trailer. I loved it.
Pretty proud of it.
I think you should be.
I think it hits the nail on the head, and I think it gets people going and realizing, exactly what's coming. And that's only a snippet of what I've already got in the can. As I say, I mean, the first 25-30 minutes is already done. I've got a lot more interviewing to do, because otherwise it's just going to be me talking to a camera for an hour and a half, and as much as I love the sound of my own voice, nobody else does.
I mean, I could sit and listen to you. I think other people, we've been told a couple times that we have at least decent narration voices, so I think you could get away with it, man. And listen,
maybe
I want to tell you too, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'd like to say it in front of everybody too. I am really, really proud of you.
Thanks,
you've become family to me. You're one of my best friends in the world, even though we've never met in person, but you're like my brother at this point. I am so fucking proud of you for the amount of work that you've put in, because I really believe in this. It scares the shit out of me. I don't like it. And I will die on this hill with you. I fully, wholeheartedly believe in this. I don't care if somebody gets in my ear and tries to say otherwise. My heart of hearts tells me that this is bad and that we have to do something about it. And that's why this project is so important. And I'm really, really glad that you're doing it, because sure as hell, I know I would be if I could. I can only do so much and contribute so much to this particular project, obviously, but it means a lot to
there's
me.
going to be plenty of work for you to do in post-production.
yeah, buddy. I'm looking forward to it.
I would also like to thank everybody that's already donated during this live stream as well, because I have had another £100 being donated in the last few minutes since we've been on air. So thank you, everybody. In fact, there are people that are commenting on this stream that have also donated. So in the last, not so long. We've had quite a number of people that have just put in some money, and some people are putting in £5. Some people are putting 50 quid in. I've had quite a few people that have put 50 quid in. Actually, it's really heartwarming to see people that are willing to help and willing to support. And I think it's really important for people to realize that this isn't going to fund me having a jolly little lifestyle. This is just enabling me to finish this documentary and to create the awareness that needs to be there around the world. There are so many people out there that are doing fantastic work, organizers of rallies. There's a woman here in the UK called Fiona Diamond who's organizing all the protests here in the UK and all the speakers. David Icke was at the protests, as you can see, because I filmed him, and ex-MPs that have, that are doing a lot of work on this. But there are more that I need to get. There are more people I need on camera. Andrew Bridgen, who's an ex-MP in the UK, he came out of government in 2024. I'm going up to interview him at his home in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much to Andrew Bridgen. But I want people like Rupert Lowe, who's just spoken out in the Commons about digital ID. There's loads of people that I want to get. Fiona, as I mentioned, she's also going to contribute towards the film. I'm going up to see her in the beginning of February. There's a protest going on at the end of January in Scotland that I would like to very much go up and speak to people the real thing here is having this documentary as being a mixture of people that people will recognize, that have got information in the background, that have been in government, who are in government. That I'm talking to somebody that's actually involved in the process of digital ID in the UK at the moment, who doesn't want to be named, but I'm hoping will come forward on camera and talk about that. But I want to get the opinions of everyday people. This needs to be approachable to everyday people. So seeing everyday people and the way that they feel and so strongly about it. I mean, some of the interviews I did on that protest just before Christmas were amazing. You know, there's some very, very well-informed people out there on this subject, but there are an awful lot of people that are still asleep, and especially those of the younger generation. You know,
Yes.
there's an awful lot of grey-haired people on this march, and God bless them, it was cold.
It looked that
But
way, I'll tell you that much.
The younger generation need to wake up. You know, technology to the younger generation is exciting. You know, God, I love AI. I mean, I'm doing this documentary at the moment pretty much single-handedly. I use AI all the time. It's like an assistant for me. It's great. But we need to protect humanity. And, you know, this new technology that's emerging should be there to make our lives easier and better, but not be used to take away our civil liberties and, you know, our purpose and meaning for living. You know, robotics, for instance. I love the idea of robotics. Jesus Christ, if I could pay 20 grand or 400 quid a month or whatever it was and have an assistant in my house, yeah, that would be really cool.
Absolutely.
Of course it would be, but there has to be ways to protect what it means to be human and to protect our civil liberties and not end up in a situation where we have centralized currency all around the world and universal basic income being plowed into our pockets, because those things come with conditions, and those conditions will be controlled by your government issued digital identity. And that is what needs to be stopped. This idea of centralizing all this information through multiple networks, sharing your information. I mean, let's face it, we've already got it bad enough, right? We've already got Facebook and not so much X anymore. Thank you, Elon. But you know, taking our data, selling it. You know, there was, what was it? For instance, there was a case not that long ago. Everybody's heard of BetterHelp, right? It's this online forum where therapists can go and sell the services to people remotely online. BetterHelp 2 years ago or 3 years ago got done because all the information and the emails and the data they were given by people signing up for BetterHelp was farmed out to industries to push products based on the help that they've asked for to sell their products. You know, how
like right
fucking corrupt is that? You go to a system like that to say you're struggling with anxiety or whatever, and then you've got people pushing their products on you based on your diagnosis from a therapy site. You know, if that's what they're prepared to do with your data, what are corrupt governments around the world prepared to do with your data?
Anything and everything.
Exactly. You know, this isn't a conspiracy theory. I mean, God, Tom, you and I have spent the last 3 years of our life doing shows together talking about conspiracy theories and UFOs and UAP and aliens and everything like that. But let's put that to one side for the moment, because I've pretty much stopped interacting with that side of things now, because I need to concentrate on this. And, you know, that's just the way that it is for now. But this isn't a conspiracy theory. There isn't, you know, documents that we need to find or evidence that we need to find to prove that this exists like we do with that other subject. This is in the open. This is happening now. There is no conspiracy theory. It is fact, and it needs to be stopped. And I hope to be part of the process that means that it's prevented. And that's the aim of this documentary, and that's why I need everybody's support. And thank you to everybody who has supported me so far.
It's incredible when a large group of people will get together and actually believe in a cause, how much progress can be made too. And I think I view my role in this project as I view myself as the bridge. And what I mean by that, is that there's going to be people who might see this and be like, well, it's happening in the UK. I am going to drill into your heads until this documentary comes out that this is coming for the United States. It is coming for Canada. It is already sort of begun in a lot of places. The UK is the true testing ground for it, though. I don't know why they feel so emboldened to do some of the things that they've done, but that's just the nature of the beast that we're dealing with. And please, and this might be the most important thing that I say in this entire stream, this, and look in my eyes as I say it, this is not left, this is not right, this is not center, this is not Green Party, Tea Party, it's none of that. This is citizen versus government overreach. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. It has nothing to do with anybody. It has to do with right, and it has to do with wrong. This is wrong, and we have to stop it. It's really that simple. I want to see people come together on this. I want to see people that voted for Donald Trump and then another person that voted for Kamala Harris. I want to see those two people put their nonsense aside for once and be like, you know what? This is threatening both of us. Let's stand up against it. We have so much more in common and so much more that we can get done as a collective together. And we can even get rid of the country part of this, right? This is just citizens versus governments. It's really that simple. Governments do not reflect the will of the people, and that's what they were meant to do. So what do we have to do now that they don't do that? We have to, within reason, ethically, legally, and morally, fight back against it, because I will never condone violence. I never do, never will. Don't ask me to. I can't do it. It's not in my heart of hearts. We have to stand up against this, and we have to start now. Or, I mean, this needed to start yesterday. Like this, that's how dangerous this is, and that's how far they have already moved down the line with it. So please, please, please pay attention to this project. And even if you don't have money, even if you can't donate, in the least, start telling people about this. Share it. Talk to people about it at work. Word of mouth is huge. Even if it's one person that you talk to, that one person can then go talk to 3 people, and now all of a sudden you have 4 extra people that know about this, and then they share it. We have to stop this.
Sorry, I'm just turning comments on because we're getting loads of comments coming in, so we can see everybody's comments. Yeah, I mean, I think the key phrase here is mass non-compliance. You know, people just have to say no, and governments will try and push back, but you just have to say no. You know, no violence. It's not needed. We just need to make our voices heard. Mass non-compliance is the key here. And that's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, that's it. And I just want to say really
and support
quickly,
my documentary.
Yeah, there's also that, of course, right? The underline. I appreciate the fact that we have someone in the chat right now that sees this a little differently than I do. That's something I always preach, and when I see it, I really, really appreciate, like, when someone just says, hey, you know what? That's not so, I see that differently. I disagree with you there. I do, because I feel like too many people these days, and especially in the UFO community, right? Let's be honest. When they disagree, it becomes like a firestorm. People can still be friends and still have a common goal and disagree on things. Like, I hate onions. Zev in the chat here may absolutely love French onion soup. I think it's disgusting.
I love French onion soup.
I think it's so nasty. Like, I think we can get some work done. We have to focus on building bridges, not burning them. I don't know why it's so difficult for people, man. I really don't. But I think when push comes to shove, though, with stuff like this, I think people will be willing to put a lot of that aside. He says, maybe some people will disagree with me here, but what's one bullet in the forehead of one of these most corrupt politicians compared to thousands or millions? That's you know what? I will say, though, logically, logistically, morally, that's an interesting conversation in the least to have. Again, I like playing devil's advocate. I like examining things from all sides, because that's how I attempt to render opinions and conclusions. I respect how you feel. I just don't. Me personally,
I'd like to also thank him for his donation.
Again,
he did actually donate.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So thank you for your contribution.
We both deeply appreciate that. I'll tell you why and I think Digby, you'll agree with this, obviously, too. And again, this isn't even meant to be like an insult or anything. I feel that violence begets violence, right? It's like, if you go down that road, you're setting a precedent for more violence. That's why I'm against it. But I understand the argument here, like that versus war. I don't like war either, especially. War is violence. I don't like any of it. And if I had a perfect solution, I'd implement it, but I don't.
We also have to remember that I'm talking from the UK, where freedom of speech isn't quite so free anymore. And anything I say online can and you will be used against me in a court of law.
It's happened. Like, it's awful over there.
They're starting to get rid of the judicial process in the UK. This is happening right now. In some circumstances, they are trying to abolish the need for a judicial process. This isn't something that's going to happen in the future. This is happening now. We all need to stand up in any way we can, raise awareness for it, and prevent this from ever happening, because otherwise your future is quite frankly going down the shitter, as we would say in the UK. And it needs to be stopped. And I want to make sure that I do my part to prevent it from happening. And the best way that I know how to do it is through film. And that's why I am doing this documentary. And when I say this is taking over my life, I am working on this 7 days a week.
Yes.
Pretty much most of my waking moment, apart from being a father, which I try to do to the best of my ability. But even then, at the moment, this is taking over a lot of my time. I've worked through the Christmas period, whether it be reaching out to people for interviews or researching or editing or everything. This is filmmaking at a new level for me. Tom and I are used to doing, short little YouTube documentaries that we do with, archival footage we find online, and, using things like story blocks for footage and music and stuff like that. This is a completely different level. The aim of this, and hopefully it's come through just on the quick little trailer that I've done with a fraction of the footage that I've got at the moment. Hopefully people can see that this documentary will be as near damn it to cinematic quality as it can be. And that's not just for my own vanity. That is because producing producing something with a high production value means that it's more likely that people are going to watch it, that they're going to stand up and they're going to take notice. And hopefully every single person that was on the fence about digital ID, by the time they have watched this documentary, which I hope will be seen by millions of people around the world, will not be on the fence anymore. And they will understand what it means for them and what it means for their future.
It's a daunting task. And again, these are things that I believe in, and I think I think a lot of people out there probably see things that go on like this, Digby, and feel a sense of hopelessness. Like, I'm just one person. How can we are we powerful enough to stop this? And I really feel that it can be done. I have seen the tides of history changed right before my eyes when people thought that like all hope was lost. I have experienced that myself. I mean, I won't go into detail because I don't want to spend all the time doing that, but I will say that there have been points in my life where, I hit rock bottom essentially and was like, where do I go from here? And to see that I'm even here now where I am all these years later, that directly translates to how I feel about things like this. Is that I really believe that good and love are like forces in the universe that we might not be able to measure them with our instruments, but they permeate our being for sure. And when people know something is wrong and it fills them with that spirit, they're able to stand up and do something about it. Real quickly, just because, and again, I don't want to take away from the subject here. I want to personally say thank you to the individuals that have donated to the project so far, because again, this type of thing is just not, it's not possible without you. My situation, obviously, just really quick, is I need to raise money to upgrade like all of my equipment, just because I want to be able to do the bigger documentary. With like Digby, you made a really good point of what we're used to doing, right? I have a ton of different projects in mind, but when I envision them in my head, they are not. I can only get like 60% of the way to what I would really want them to be, because I only have what I have. So I'm just going to throw this up on the screen really quick, because it's a post that I made a while back, and it has everything on there. If you, and again, it's never a requirement. It's nothing of that nature. You can screenshot this, whatever you'd like to do. These are the best ways to, because I don't have a GoFundMe up yet for trying to, upgrade all of my equipment. I'm going to do that. These are the best ways if you, enjoy my work, our work, everything that's connected to us, whether it's digital ID, whether it's UFOs, any of that, any of the things that we care about that we cover. And when the GoFundMe is up on my end for doing all of that, again, early access and such will be part of that. I'm going to start doing giveaways. I have a giveaway going right now that has to do with the project that I'm doing too. And I want to give back to you guys. I really do. And if you guys have any ways that you can think of that would be sufficient for you guys, that you would be satisfied with, that you would be happy with, where Digby and I can reach out and help you in some way, please let us know. We're all friends out here. We love to collaborate with people. We love doing projects with people. Some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. So that's there for you guys to look at for a moment there, and now I'll take it off screen because, again, I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I think it's a big deal.
We need to highlight here, and this goes to the heart of the production company that I started and that Tom has come along with me for, is the idea behind Anomalous Media is to do thought-provoking documentaries that actually make a difference. We're not interested in doing fluff pieces that don't mean anything. We want to do things that, create change around the world for better. There is enough people out there right now trying to fuck everybody over and screw everybody, that people need to stand up and start making their voices heard. Now, whether that is fighting against digital ID, or talking about climate change, or talking about government conspiracies of UAPs hiding in dark rooms of Area 51, it doesn't matter. Around the world right now, every single one of us are being lied to about multiple things. We're barely even scratching the surface right now with things that are going on in AD dark rooms, in the back halls of governments, and in Davos or wherever, or the World Health Organization. Doesn't matter. Yeah, there are people out there that are making decisions for the rest of humanity. And if we carry on down the path that we're on right now, not just with digital, but with all the lies that are being told to people around the world, then the future for humanity is looking pretty bleak. So the reason why I started Anomalous Media, and it has no funding at this point, it has up until this point where I have started this GoFundMe, it has all been self-funded, and that's not a situation that can carry on. I've got a couple of other projects in the works, which hopefully I am actually getting direct funding for. I've got a couple of documentaries, well, one in particular, that hopefully will be starting to be filmed later on this year, that will either be on terrestrial TV here in the UK or on Netflix. And that one is about the state of British pubs in the UK. And, this is another subject that's very dear to my heart as an ex-landlord. Governments and breweries alike have been screwing over British pubs for a decade or so, or maybe even longer. 50 UK pubs close around the country, every week. And that is people's livelihoods gone. That is people's safe spaces. That is people's community spaces. That is the place where people who are alone, who live in a small town or village, that's where they get to see people. These places need to be protected. So that's another documentary that I'm working on at the moment. That's going to be called Last Orders, and that's going to be a 6-part mini documentary. That's going to be following around 4 different families, 4 different landlords and their pubs for a week, and getting to know what it's like in their shoes and the hardships of running a pub in the UK. Now, that may resonate more with British people watching this here than Americans, because it's an institution you don't really have, or you have it in a different way. But for me, it's very important. So this is another project that I'm working on in the background, although that has very much taken a sidestep apart from a day's filming a pub that's in the process of closing down. In fact, they're actually closing down at the end of next month. So I need to get the filming in and done for that before they're already gone, before they've already lost their livelihood. So Anomalous Media is about telling the stories that matter and doing them justice.
I remember when you called me and first told me about Last Orders. Again, it emotionally resonated with me, because those little pieces of footage that you showed me of those people sitting in that pub, I felt like I was looking at me and like my dad and people that I know, blue collar. That's me, right? Just regular, ordinary people that have. And again, I don't drink anymore. I've been sober for 11 years. But that's not, I'm not looking at this as like, it's a place that serves alcohol, as some people might want to suggest it. A pub in the UK, like you said, is a very different type of culture. I don't know. I guess go watch old episodes of Cheers, right? Like, that's probably the closest thing that I could compare it to, where everybody knows your name, right? It's like, that's a place where
swear
people...
words thrown around, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, and words that us Americans probably have absolutely no clue what they mean. But it's... I think that will actually resonate with Americans, people like myself, people that get up early, that go to work, they come home, their body hurts, they're tired, and they just want to relax and talk to people and just live a little bit, right? Like that's what those pubs represent to me, like when I see that footage. So that, yeah, I think that's going to pull on some heartstrings and hopefully send a clear message across the world that there are a lot of things going on in places that you just don't know about, that really suck, to put it very bluntly and simply, that if it was happening to you, it would crush you. And it's like, these are other people just like you. That's what really matters to me about this stuff. It's like, these are just people. I'm no different. And that's why it affects me when I see stuff like that. Someone's losing their livelihood, or they're closing down their business. It's like, I don't know if maybe it's because I'm older now.
I've been there.
But that stuff really hits me, man. It hits me hard.
Post-COVID, I lost my pub, because I couldn't make it work anymore. Not because it wasn't successful, but because there wasn't money in it. And it all links back to the same thing. This is the same thing. Pubs in the UK are closing down because of what they're doing to them and squeezing them out of business.
It's
this
a scam.
Is the same thing as D. It's about government control. It's about the government imposing on the people their will. It should be the other way around. And that's what we're here to try and prevent in any subject matter that we feel and we deem is important to us. We will never do a project because somebody pays us to do it. That's not what it's about. We will do it if it's something that we believe in and we have control over it. But, this is why I'm not sitting here, asking. I could go out right now, use some connections that I've got and get given 50 grand to finish this documentary and hire everybody that I need to do it. But that will come with conditions. And that will come with overreach. And that's not what I'm about. That is why I'm asking for the help and support from everyday people, just to give a couple of pounds, a couple of dollars, whatever you can afford. I'd like to thank, I don't know if they're watching, but Randy Mills contributed 74 quid earlier, which, judging by the amount, I would say that was probably converted from dollars or euros, because it's a random amount. But, all these bits of money, some of them are big, some of them are small. It doesn't matter. God, there's been 457 people watching this live stream so far up to this point. If everybody gave $1, that would mean a massive difference. You know, the trailer I posted yesterday, I think is almost reached 45,000 views. You know, if everybody there just gave $1, you know, it would, do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be big amounts. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. It just needs to be a little something. And it goes directly towards directly funding this documentary to make sure that this specific documentary gets out. And so whatever little help anybody, like I said, the link is at the bottom of the screen there. GoFundMe, GoFund.me/CA869FFFA. Yeah, it's a great website. Otherwise, you can also head over to our website. It's on the front page of our website, which is a little bit easier to remember, which is Anom Media, ANOMMEDIA.com. So anommedia.com. Over to anommedia.com. There is a donate now button at the bottom of the page. You can go there. So that's anommedia.com. You can head over there. There's a link on there to the GoFundMe page. Please head over there, support us, and we can get this documentary out, and hopefully we can do some good, and we can enact some change that's going to benefit the UK, that's going to benefit Australia, that's already going through the same process that the UK is, and that will benefit you wherever you are. Because your government may be saying no to this. Donald Trump may be saying no to this. But Donald Trump's only got 3 more years. He ain't coming back for a 3rd term, despite what he thinks or he wishes. You know, but this is
some would say the most beautiful term.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I don't know what that voice is, what else they're doing. But yeah, it doesn't matter. This isn't about political allegiance. You may think differently from me politically. I really don't care. We're all human beings. We're all going to be subject to the same authoritarian overreach within the next 5 years. It's going to happen here before. Yeah. It's going to happen here way before that, you know, but it is coming everywhere. And if we do not stand our ground right now and prevent this from coming in, if the people do not stand up and say no, yeah, then this is going to come everywhere. You know, people stood up against the authoritarian measures during COVID. I know I've said the C word, but we're already not getting views on YouTube, so I don't really care at this point.
Do they still mess around with people's channels over that? I mean, really, come on. You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, but we all stood up. And I'm not saying I don't believe in COVID or whatever. You know, I'm entitled to my opinion. Everybody's in their own opinion on COVID. I'm not saying I'm a COVID denier.
No, you're talking about the reaction to it.
What I am saying is the government overreach, the lockdowns, everything like that. You know, there were plans to do more, but they couldn't do them because they knew people weren't going to comply. Everybody sent them a message saying, no, we are not going to comply. If there are other lockdowns, they wouldn't again because it just wouldn't work. People would say no. We've got to say no with digital ID because this is bigger. You know, God, do you think being locked inside your house for 2 years was the worst thing that's ever going to happen to you? Every aspect of your life could be controlled by digital ID in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And once they
imagine making a post and they shut you off.
Oh, I would already be shut off right now. If I was receiving universal basic income, I would not be receiving a penny right now.
Exactly right. And people that don't know, over the last couple of years, there have already been thousands of people who have been arrested and imprisoned in the United Kingdom for social media posts that would shock you. That would shock you. They shocked me. I thought it was a meme.
Graham Linehan, who's the writer of Father Ted, which is one of the biggest and best sitcoms in UK history. It's absolutely hilarious. He got arrested coming off the plane from the US after speaking to Joe Rogan about his comments on transgender rights. Now, you don't have to agree with what the person said to realize the fact that they get arrested for it is wrong. Everybody is entitled to speak their mind. You are also entitled not to listen to them. And you have the right to reply with social media. If you don't speak to somebody, you can disagree with them. You can disagree with them privately, or you can do it publicly. But that doesn't mean they should be arrested. It doesn't mean that they should be put in jail because of what they think and how they feel. And that is what is happening in the UK right now. And now they're also trying to get rid of the judicial process so that when they arrest these people, they don't need to go in front of a court of law. They don't need to go in front of a jury, just a judge, to be sentenced for their actions. Then who gets to decide what's right and wrong? Because today it may be somebody posting about transgender rights. Tomorrow it might just be you posting on social media because you don't agree with what the government has said.
That's it. It's precedent. I'll say it again. It's precedent. That's wrong. We have to protect freedom of speech, even when there are times that speech is something that we don't like or we disagree with, or even if it disgusts us sometimes. We still have to protect the basic right of freedom of speech, because that is the ultimate point right here, is that you start with one thing and it's going to snowball. It's you give an inch, they take a mile. That's exactly what this represents. I could go make a post tomorrow in that world about how I disagree with the way that the current administration is handling, the economy or whatever it may be. And then next thing you know, in the middle of the night, I'm getting a knock on the door. Like that. I know that sounds like outrageous, and it almost comes off comedic, because when I first started hearing about what was going on in your neck of the woods, Digby, I thought this was like coming from The Onion or like the Babylon Bee, or so. I was like, what? I was like, they got arrested for what? And it was real. And I was bewildered by it. And that's just that's the beginning, right? Like that's just, or we haven't even come out of the gate yet for this. And that they're already doing that. It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Do not let my fancy background give you any illusions about my financial situation, because this is most definitely a green screen, and my room is I'm in an attic full of boxes of leftover stuff and everything. I do not have a luxurious working environment.
I love that background. I've told you this for a long time, that I guess it's the way that it's colored in relation to like the way the light hits you. It looks very believable. It still looks great to me. I love it. No, I love it.
You see, but
yeah, well, it adds a little depth of field, right? I was thinking about. I still have my green screen.
I was sitting there thinking, God, I'm not asking people for money to support me, and they think I've got this lush studio behind me. It's all a mirage.
I was thinking about doing something kind of wacky, where I take my green screen, right, and I take an image of the room behind me, but Photoshop it and add a bunch of stuff that I don't actually own. So then it's like, well, now I don't have to go out and buy
it. like an Oscar in the background. Maybe I should...
That's right. For my performance.
I'd like a few BAFTAs.
That's right. All these awards that I never won, right? Like a certificate. It'll say I'm from Harvard. I'll be a PhD. You name it. Oh, man. It's all going on that wall. All of it. Yeah. They're absolutely right. A little hardwood, like that dresser is going to be like a completely different color with like gold trim. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, gorgeous.
I was telling Tom this beforehand. I said, you can tell I'm using a green screen because my vape is invisible.
Yeah. Mine is not. It's right here. This stream is brought to you by whatever the hell. Yovo. It's not really brought to you by Yovo, but that is Yovo. This lasts so long too. It's great. I gotta quit vaping though. It's not really. It's like a leftover from my bad habits.
On the list of things to stop doing and to live a healthier lifestyle, but at the moment, other things are taking priority.
How long have we been going? Hour and 18. Boy, that went by fast,
hasn't it? Well,
wow.
Time flies when you're having fun with an old mate. You see.
That's right. I know. I really missed going live, man. Like, again, I know you've been so busy, and me too, but I've always thought it's like we should make a concerted effort to do the podcast again, or just go live and just wing it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, even if we don't even have to have a plan, sometimes I feel like the best content comes out of just like not having a plan. Really,
perhaps,
like it's just fun.
Perhaps, yeah, in some occasions. Yes.
Sometimes. There are people in the chat, obviously, that are kind enough to say that they enjoy our back and forth, so that's really good. And again, you guys, a lot of you that have watched us are used to us doing just like UFO centric stuff. Like, that's still going to be my focus. Obviously, that's like, but anomalous media is more broad. It falls under that umbrella, but it is more broad. Like, my focus isn't changing because that's what I do. I'm handling all the weird shit while Digby handles all the other stuff. Right, Digby? Yeah. I'll deal with the aliens. You deal with Starmer.
Yeah. I think I've got more of a fight in my hands than you have. Sorry, I'm trying to type something and I can't see because my camera's in the way.
I was like, what the hell are you doing?
I know, it looks like I've gone all weird, doesn't it?
Get back. Get back, I say.
There's our website for anybody that wants to know more information or what we're about. You can head over to www.anommedia.com. As I said earlier, the donate button is also on the front page. If you go to the front page, there's the trailer on the front page right down at the bottom. And there's also a little ticker on there that shows the level of donations that we've already got through our GoFunding efforts. And there is a donate button there as well. So if you don't want to type in the GoFundMe link that's on the ticker across the bottom of the screen, which is incredibly long and annoying, then please head over to anommedia.com. As I said, go to the bottom of the page there, and there is a donate now button. Please give anything that you can. I feel like I'm doing like Red Nose Day or something at the moment, or whatever you have in the a CBS thing, and calling out for money, which is a bit new to me. I've not had to do this before, but you are supporting a good cause. Every penny goes towards producing this documentary, getting it out there, and raising awareness of digital ID and what it means for my future, your future, but more importantly, if you've got them, your children's future. Because let me tell you, that was one of the main reasons why I'm now doing what I'm doing, is to make sure that the future that my children grow up in is a one that I want them to be growing up in, which is why, as I said to you before, Tom, before we went live, which is why I feel that digital ID is the hill to die on at the moment, because, it's really, really important. Randy Mills is here on X. So, Randy Mills, thank you so much for your incredibly generous donation that you made not 35 minutes ago. Look at that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really. Thank you very much.
Ewan Salter, if you're watching, thank you very much for your donation that you just made.
And also, thank you. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Klamath River Media is looking forward to more Cortex Zero videos, specifically on the program. We should interview some abductees. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch anything that we do. And yes, I mean, that's something that I really want to do this year is focus on people who have, on that side of things, have had anomalous experiences. I am an experiencer, so it's near and dear to my heart. Digby's technically an experiencer too. He's had things happen to him that are just absolutely bizarre. And that resonated with me deeply earlier, what you said, Digby, that whether it's UFOs or a multitude of other things, there's a lot that they're hiding from us. And it goes a lot deeper than just, we're not alone in the universe. There's so much more than that. And I think it even goes into territory that some people would be shocked. Human capability, extrasensory perception, things of that nature. Because those are things that they can't guard against. I want you to think about that. Why have they always poo-pooed psi? It's because they don't have a weapon against it. They can't control someone who has that type of ability, a la Stranger Things, a la 11. How could you... What are you going to do? What are you going to do if somebody can just remote view your secrets, right? Like, they don't want people knowing that you can do that. There's a lot that they're hiding from us.
Stranger Things. And I saw a post on this, and I'm going to butcher it now because I can't remember the complete details of it. But Stranger Things, it's not... They were saying that it's not a coincidence, the fact that they're using children in Stranger Things, because that's 100%. What they actually always have done with psi stuff. I mean, God, you only need to watch. This is. You feel we spoke about psionic abilities 10 years ago. People would call us a nutter, but look what happened with the telepathy tapes and the proof that came out during that. These things exist, and it all goes back to government and government overreach and preventing people reaching their full potential, hiding things from humanity. It all goes back to the same people.
It's the same thing. My God, that's the other thing.
Club
You
of
bring up
Rome,
children,
all these
man.
people.
I don't think they. It's like, I know some people that I've spoken to personally that have experienced certain things related to being a child, and I'm not going into the territory of predatory stuff. I'm talking about experimentation and things of that nature. There were a lot of things going on, like, right in front of our eyes that a lot of us didn't even know. I didn't even know. Like, some of the standardized testing stuff, they were looking for specific people for very specific reasons. That's something. That's a project for another day. When you can't figure out how the UFO flies, and you realize it doesn't have an engine, and you come to the realization that the beings are the engine, what do you start looking for? You start looking for people with what? Extraordinary abilities. It's really just that simple. And they don't want you to know it's real. They don't want you to know it's real because it gives us what? Too much power. And what do they want? Power. That's it. It's power and money, man. Like, when you boil all of the ingredients away, it usually comes down to those few things, right? It's crazy world we're living in. But I'm happy to be here. So
it does. Well, look, I think
we've
had a good run on this stream. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to everybody who has already supported and pledged your support to This Is Digital ID. As I mentioned before, it is in platforms later on this year. Pretty sure it's going on Apple TV and Amazon. But if I can get a deal with Netflix and get it on Netflix, I will do that instead. But that's probably slightly more tricky. But again, that's the reason why this production has to be done to the highest quality, because we're not talking about a YouTube video, because YouTube suppress things and prevent things like this from getting out and prevent who sees them. Getting this put on Apple TV, Amazon is the way forwards. Netflix, if possible, because the reach is there, and we can make sure that a lot of people get to see this. If you don't follow me already, please do. My Twitter handle or X handle is @dfurno, which is DFURNEAUX. Follow me or follow Tom if you're not following us. If you're not following him already, and also, do you know what? If you are not in a position to help financially, there are other ways that you can help. Repost, comments, likes, all these things on X, on posts, really, really help. They increase awareness. And you reposting stuff that I do or Tom does means that you might not be able to help, but the next person who sees it might be in a position to help. So, de facto, you are helping. So anything like that really, really helps. And thank you to everybody who supported me so far, and thank you to anybody that watches this on playback and decides to support me as well. As I say, once everybody has once the money has come in, there will be, and the documentary is finished, you will be emailed with a access to a live premiere of the documentary before it goes live on streaming platforms, where there will be a forum afterwards where you get to speak to me. I'm sure Tom will be there as well, and other key names that have contributed via interviews for the documentary. And I dare say there will be a few very well-known names in there that you'll recognize, which I am not at liberty to say right now, because I don't want to until I've got their interview in the can. But yeah, so you will get invited to that, which also, let's put it this way. If you pay £3, let's for instance, you then get to watch the video, you get to watch the documentary for free, essentially, because you won't be paying the price to watch it on Amazon or on Apple TV. So it is a pretty good deal, really, if you're intending on watching the documentary anyway. So please donate whatever you can, support whatever way you can, and help this documentary get out there and help Digital ID, or This Is Digital ID, the documentary, get finished, get out there and wake a load of people up.
I love it. I love this project. If you guys don't follow me on X, it's @Cortex_0. And I received 2 donations from random names that are like unpronounceable. I don't know who these people are, but they came in through my Venmo too. If those people are here watching, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Words cannot express my thanks. Both of them were for $20, and again, I'm just trying to upgrade my equipment so I can keep up here. You know what I mean? I work a day job, 40 plus hours a week, moving furniture, and I want to do this. I want to create, whether it's music, whether it's visual stuff, whether I'm writing articles, whether it's a project with Digby under Anomalous Media's umbrella. Like, I love this. And it's also, a lot of people don't know this, but this is kind of like what my dad wanted to do that he didn't get to do. So I think he may not say it, but I've kind of gotten the impression that this is very special to him. And that means a lot to me. And there was a point in my life where I didn't think I would make it this far. So before I get too overly emotional on that, thank you for all of your support up to this point. A lot of really, really amazing people that we've become friends with. Special thanks too to Darcy for all the things that he's been doing in the background to help with this documentary as well, and projects that I've been a part of that he's had me help with. Really, really incredible guy. And
yeah, shout out to our man Darcy Weir.
Yeah, like, really good guy, man.
If you're not
really
following him, you should be following him as well.
I love Canadians. I love Canadians. I swear to God, every time.
Polite, Tom.
They're so nice. I mean, seriously, every person I've ever met over the internet that was Canadian, they're just like the nicest people. I really. And Darcy's been such a good guy to both of us, and you especially lately. And he's a father now, which is amazing. You know, it's nice to see those types of things. It really makes me happy. And to all the people, I mean, we have 528 people here. You all mean something to both of us. You do. It's just, we're all like-minded people here for a very specific reason, whether it's UFOs, whether it's the government just overreaching, whether it's anything that we all care about. Thank you, really. I mean, it means a lot. We have a new year here. And I've been saying it this week, and I'll say it here too. This is Digby's year, and this is my year because I said so. I'm willing this into existence. I am going to own this. I'm going to cook. That's what I'm doing. I am literally going to... No. And I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, and I was thinking about it.
I thought you were going to go, and I'm a huge meth fan.
Why are you blue? Like, I love Breaking Bad so much. Like, a huge Bryan Cranston fan. Love that show. It's my favorite show of all time.
Oh, God, yeah,
like, love that show.
Back, isn't it? They're doing I saw that the other day.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, they're bringing it back with him being older.
Oh, it's crazy. I love it. Cranston, man, he's amazing. But Digby, I'm glad we got to do this, man. It's been such a long time. I hope that as you move through this project, we'll be able to do more streams like this with some updates and stuff.
Well, yeah, let's do one a month and just give everybody a little update. And I can give people some more clips, and I obviously I have to keep most of the stuff back for the documentary, but I will keep people updated, and there'll be a couple of new trailers coming out when there's more footage coming in and stuff like that. So everybody will be kept up to date. For those of you who have donated on GoFundMe, I'll keep updates on there as well, so you get notified of updates on there. So yeah, thank you everybody.
And
again, you're all amazing.
On the UFO end of things, hopefully Digby will be able to join me when he can, because obviously this is a daunting project. But at some time over the next couple weeks, I'm gonna probably start at least live streaming in some capacity again, just maybe once a week, just for like an hour or two, and kind of run through what's going on, or just what we were doing before. I know, Digby, you won't always be able to be there because this is a huge project, but I miss doing it. I really, you know what I mean? Like, I just miss it. And I feel like there's more of a connection that gets made between us and the audience, like when we're in this environment. So
yeah,
I miss it. I really miss it. And I think I need to do it.
I agree. Let's jump on a space at some point soon as well. It's
I did it on
easier. Take less time to set up.
I think it was this Friday. I think I did it on Friday. I was an Astral stream, and it went really, really good. We had a great conversation.
I miss you guys. I should jump
People
in
ask
on a
about
UFO
you, man.
conversation every now and
People
again.
ask about you all of the time.
I'm sure they've forgotten who I am at this point.
They have absolutely not. That is totally untrue. In fact, fake news. It's fake news. Disinformation, actually.
Fake news.
Disinformation.
Yeah, well,
I guess that's it, huh? We're kind of at that point. It's a good
We are that-
place to hit the button.
We are at that point. Thank you again, everybody. I have been Digby. He has been Tom. Other way. There we go. Take care, everyone. Love you
Much
all.
love.
God bless. And a
Love
very,
you all.
very happy new year.
Yes,
Take
Happy
care,
New
everyone.
Year.
Bye. Oh, I can't press the button.
Ah!
It's still here. Awkward.